I'm going to segue, and the reason I want to move us forward is because we also have some special guests joining us for our 2021 inaugural CBTN Champions and Impact Awards. I'm going to have Jena Lilly take this over. Many of you know Jena. She is our inaugural executive director of the CBTN, and she was a behind-the-scenes person joining and really helping to build, and much of what CBTN has created would not have been possible without her. So Jena, with that, if you can take the lead.
Thanks, Angela, for that introduction. Folks hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. I think I may need some help with the slides as I don't have control.
Yep, I can do it.
All right, thanks so much. So, first I wanted to welcome everyone to this celebration of our Research Champions and Foundation Impact Awards. The first group that I wanted to thank was the Executive Council. The charge of the new Executive Council is to inform and partner with CBTN leadership, acting as the community stakeholder representative, driving the national and global impact and sustainability of CBTN. We're so grateful to each of you and look forward to continued working together. There we go. So thank you so much for all of the members of the Executive Council. On the next slide, I wanted to give a thank you to our meeting sponsors, the SWIFTY Foundation, the AC Foundation, the Children's Brain Tumor Foundation, Lila Bean, Courtney Rose, and Day One Pharmaceuticals. We're so excited to launch the inaugural sponsorship of our meeting, and 100% of the sponsorships will go directly to supporting the CBTN, and we're just so extremely grateful. And then nextly, a quick shout out to all of the CBTN member sites on the next slide. As you know, of course, we would not be able to do it without you. And a big thank you to CBTN leadership for your guidance and strategic direction in making CBTN what it is today. So, why have we launched this new session this year? So many of you have played a crucial role in advancing the mission and truly collaborating in new and innovative ways. On behalf of the CBTN leadership team, thank you. We wanted to put forward what we are stating as the CBTN core values, which over deliberation came out to be these three themes: open science, global inclusion, and pioneering spirit. These core values were created to work as landmarks for how the CBTN will drive accelerated pediatric brain tumor research, and are serving as our roadmap to ensure that we are thinking about those every step of the way. So this afternoon, we're excited to honor the researchers that have worked to embody each of these core values, as well as the foundation partners who have supported the development of the CBTN infrastructure and supported our progress, each of whom has contributed over $1 million in research funding. And while I'm excited and humbled to present each of these amazing efforts this afternoon, you will hear directly from each one of the CBTN research champions and have the opportunity to learn more about their incredible work when they accept their champion recognition during the meeting tomorrow. So now on to the leaders that exemplify the CBTN core values. So on the first slide, we wanted to start with open science. Above everything, the CBTN is committed to the idea of putting patients first. We know that it is impossible, even at top hospitals and research centers across the world, for any single investigator or lab to gather enough data and specimens on their own to develop new treatments fast enough for today's children. We at CBTN embrace a collaborative open science approach to research by ensuring all CBTN resources are available to any scientist who will use them to accelerate discovery, free of cost every time. And for this year, the inaugural Open Science Award, I'm excited to present this to Doctors Casey Green and Jacqueline Tirani. Next slide. Yes, so this is our fantastic partnership with the Childhood Cancer Data Lab. Partnering with the Childhood Cancer Data Lab has been a fantastic experience, and their project was the Open PBTA project. This project embodies open science in so many ways. It's inherently collaborative. It used an open manuscript method created by Dr. Green called the ManiBot, allowing any interested researcher around the world to contribute. It's real-time and publicly available, incorporating the review process during analysis. This speeded up the time to be able to get the data out to the research community. The data, the analysis code, and the results are all publicly available on GitHub as each analysis passes this review. This crowdsourced open analysis effort is creating a molecular picture of more than over 30 pediatric brain tumor types from 1,000 subjects represented within the Pediatric Brain Tumor Atlas. Open PBTA is a unique opportunity for the entire pediatric brain cancer community to work together in real time to understand this complex disease. And we applaud the Childhood Cancer Data Lab supported by Alex's Lemonade Stand for championing this incredible project. Thank you, Jacqueline and Casey, for all you have done. And Jacqueline will be presenting about the project tomorrow around noon. So our next champion embodies the global inclusion core value of the CBTN. What is global inclusion for us? The CBTN is determined to not stop until there is a cure for every child, every time, everywhere around the world. This means we will work not just for the children born in the right place or to families with the right resources. Cancer knows no class, no race, no religion, or no country. Every child, everywhere, every time needs equal access to the best treatments possible. And that requires us to come together as a global community to share resources, expertise, and discoveries. In Australia, the childhood cancer kills more children than any other disease. And for our awardees this year, Trevor Pugh and Arashna B embody this core value through their project of Kavatika Australia and its partnership with Zero Childhood Cancer. Kavatika Australia was launched in partnership with the Australia Research Data Commons, with the Bioplatforms Australia, the Australia Biocommons, the Children's Cancer Institute in Australia, the CBTN, and 7 Bridges. Yep, you can go right to the next slide. Kavatika Australia supports the bringing together of large-scale genomic data and computation on behalf, you can go back. Yep, yep, there you go. Thank you. That's right. It looks like this.
I messed up the slide order. So if this was your last slide, you're doing a great job. I'm sorry, I'm not.
No, that's okay.
There we go.
Yeah, no, that's.
And then.
Yep, that's the right one. Yep. So Kavatika Australia, as I said, was a partnership, and it was led by Mark Cowley, computational biology group leader at the Children's Cancer Institute. And this project leveraged CBTN's open PBTA data, launched a national platform, tools, and integrates global data sets to drive discovery. And Mark will be speaking with us all tomorrow at about 12:30. And then the last awardee is Pioneering Spirit. So if we just jump back to Pioneering Spirit, thanks, Angela. What is Pioneering Spirit? We need to innovate new solutions and adoptions of new technologies in order to create entirely new mechanisms for scientific discovery. CBTN's Pioneering Spirit embraces novel and innovative approaches that harness Kavatika's cloud resources in new ways to answer some of the toughest questions in medical science, all while harnessing the power of collaboration and overcoming the challenge of rare disease settings through shared resources. The project, The Immunogenomic Landscape of Pediatric Cancers, led by Trevor Pugh and Arashna B, and their team of collaborators embodies pioneering spirit in the pursuit of novel approaches for developing life-saving new treatment strategies. Their work brought together CBTN datasets along other EU and Canadian datasets and leveraged the collaborative infrastructure of Cavatica to gain novel insights into the tumor's microenvironment and how a child's own immune response interacts with tumor attempts to evade or usurp the immune system's efforts to target it. So this was a fantastic collaboration that really brought together some fantastic data sets across the world to really put patients first and understand the immunogenomic landscape. And I'll pause real quick. If Adam, if you wanted to say anything as scientific chair for these first 3 awardees.
I would just say, we have really great partnerships and many deserving partners who've leveraged CBTN, but these 3 groups really demonstrated uncanny and unique properties in their projects. Just to give you some framing, Arash, for example, despite never having utilized a cloud-based environment like Cavatica, became a Cavatica super user and really leverage that environment to bring large-scale data sets from across the globe to do some amazing new analytics that I think are going to be really clinically meaningful. At the same time, when you have someone like that, it empowers us to learn how to better support users, how to better support young investigators. So there's a feedback loop in those kinds of activities. Similarly, Mark and his efforts in Australia. Australia has amazing scientists. If Mark is on, it's very, very late or very, very early, depending on where he is. And so connecting across those resources requires new technologies, and the openness and collaborative spirit that Mark displayed in stewarding these efforts in Australia with the Australian government was unbelievable. Then lastly, where Jena began, the Alex and Lemonade Stand Data Lab group have just been workhorses, is probably the best way to describe it. A sort of unmitigated work on behalf of creating interpretable data products in a completely open and real-time context in ways that we would not have been able to do independently of their support. I don't know if that's enough of a framing, but they really provide a model.
Thanks, Adam. Without any other comments, maybe we'll move on to our first CBTN Impact Award. Thanks, Angela. The growth of the CBTN is in no small part due to the belief and drive of the patients and foundations, just as powerful as the trust that was laid upon this partnership by the member sites, research labs, and individual investigators is the faith given by many patient families and foundations who look to our work for hope. Their hope is that we realize a future where families never again have to hear, "There's nothing else we can do for your child." And so they give. They give of their time by collaborating on advisory boards and planning committees. They give of their funds, working year-round to generate donations in their communities and pushing leaders at institutions in the private sector and in government to allocate resources to support pediatric brain tumor research. They literally give of themselves, donating specimens, tumor tissue, and genetic data. Their impact is undeniable. And so we need to begin recognizing this incredible force that has led our trajectory and our mission to uncover cures for every child. Our first awardee is the Children's Brain Tumor Foundation. The Children's Brain Tumor Foundation was founded in 1988 by a group of dedicated parents, physicians, and friends to improve the treatment, quality of life, and the long-term outcome for children with brain and spinal cord tumors through research support, education, and advocacy to families and survivors. To date, CBTF has played a driving role in the CBTN development, strategy, resources, advocacy, and research. Their dedication to providing resources to families battling brain tumors has been pivotal, from workshops for teens to retreats for parents to scholarships, has led them to be the national leader in quality of life programs for families. I will leave it to the CBTF Executive Director, Stacia Wagner, to tell you the rest.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stacia Wagner, and I'm the president of Children's Brain Tumor Foundation, also known as CBTF. CBTF has been dedicated to funding research for a cure for over 30 years. Initially, funding was granted as research seed money at various institutions. Then, 14 years ago, longtime Children's Brain Tumor Foundation board member, Dr. Susan Weiner, came to the board with a unique opportunity that, if successful, would change the trajectory of childhood brain tumor research. The plan, developed with Dr. Peter Phillips and Dr. Tom Kern of Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, was to encourage hospitals participating in research to work together instead of within a silo, to build a one-of-a-kind collaboration. This may sound like common sense, but it was actually an incredibly novel idea. If you're really going to make a difference, you're not going to do it alone. If CBTF could provide the foundation for a collaborative approach to advance the search for a cure, improve treatment and quality of life, and the long-term outlook for children and families, we were determined to make it happen. In 2008, with financial support from Licensing International, CBTF funded the initial planning grant, business plan, and foundation for what is now known as the Children's Brain Tumor Network. CBTF has since then continued to fund infrastructure for CBTN. As the nation's leader in family programs, we recognize the importance of not just finding a cure, but improving the impacts of treatment and alleviating the multitude of late effects. Our program and quality of life research fill the support gap felt by each member of the family from the day of diagnosis to forever. Speaking on behalf of all children and families impacted by a childhood brain tumor diagnosis, we're honored by this recognition and award. CBTN has already advanced the progress in finding a cure, and we look forward to our future together, celebrating breakthroughs emanating from these powerful collaborations. Thank you.
Thank you again, Stacia, Bob, Anita, and the rest of the folks from CBTF. And we're so grateful to you and are honored to have you as a partner. Our next recipient is the SWIFTY Foundation. The SWIFTY Foundation started with Michael's master plan. Towards the end of his fight with medulloblastoma at age 13, Michael Gustafson knew that he could score a final blow against cancer for the sake of the countless children that might follow him into the battle against this terrible disease. His plan to have his clinical and genetic data and his brain and tumor tissue donated towards the search for cures gave rise to what has become the SWIFTY Foundation. Michael's parents, Patty and Al, have truly taken his master plan to heart, and their efforts are unbelievably inspirational. Through the SWIFTY Foundation's support, the Gift from a Child initiative was born. This incredible effort gives power back to each family who has suffered the loss of a child from a brain tumor by enabling them to donate postmortem tumor and whole brain tissue. This priceless gift is a critical key to gathering a complete picture of a child's brain tumor, to understand how cancer responds to treatments. Above and beyond their incredible leadership with the GFAC program, Al and Patty continue to give of their time, their passion, and valuable insights as parents and professionals. As members of the Advisory Council, working groups, planning committees, and so many other efforts, the Gustafsons' impact is undeniable. We have a video message from them.
We are Patty and Al Gustafson from the SWIFTY Foundation, and thank you so very much for honoring SWIFTY with the Champions and Impact Award. There are several important reasons why SWIFTY has chosen CBTN to partner with, but let me just highlight one, and that is the CBTN leadership. Yes, they are also very smart and innovative and visionary, and they bring an openness and a humility that is also very refreshing. Parents like us and small foundations like ours are valued not just for the financial investment we might be able to make, but also for our personal and professional experience. So we really feel we're more than just an investor or an advocate. We have a sense of ownership in this. And I think the bedrock of that relationship that exists between the leadership and the foundations is made possible by the level of transparency and access that the leadership offers us. And I would say that they are nonstop. They have that great entrepreneurial spirit and drive to keep hustling until we accomplish what we've set out to do. And I can't tell you how many Saturday and Sunday afternoon calls I've had with leadership to discuss particular initiatives or strategies. And finally, they're a real pleasure to work with. I think that is because they have a genuine passion for the work they do, and despite how difficult it is, there is joy in their labor, and it certainly shows.
Our son Michael started the SWIFTY Foundation before his death in 2013. And like so many children that are diagnosed with cancer, he wanted to help other children who suffer the same fate. And it was his siblings, his friends, and his cousins who made up our original board that helped us raise our first $1 million for pediatric cancer. And when SWIFTY started, we had no idea if we would actually live up to Michael's desire to help other kids. But being recognized with the Champions and Impact Award assures us we have done some good. And whatever we do, Michael and children like him will always be at the center of it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks so much, Al and Patty, for that. And you're a wonderful partnership. It's such a pleasure to work with you and learn from you. Our next awardee is the Courtney Rose Foundation. When Kristen and Richard Gillette lost their daughter, Courtney, in 2006 to DIPG, their sense of loss was balanced with a sense of dismay at the lack of support that was given to DIPG research. Starting almost immediately in 2006, they founded the Courtney Rose Foundation and began their long journey to drive DIPG and brain tumor research forward. They've had some fantastic and amazing accomplishments along the way. In 2009, working with the New Jersey legislators, they were able to proclaim May as Brain Tumor Awareness Month. In 2010, they were part of the team that supported the concept of CBTN, providing foundational support to launch their effort. They continue to advocate and support the CBTN and brain tumor research around the world. And this past year, in 2020, named Dr. Cassie Klein, the inaugural Courtney Rose Foundation clinical researcher in neuro-oncology at CHOP. The Courtney Rose Foundation impact is unmeasurable and will continue to drive discoveries for decades to come. I think we have a video from Kristen. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Kristen Gillette from the Courtney Rose Foundation. What does it mean to partner with the CBTN? When we lost Courtney and started the Courtney Rose Foundation 16 years ago, my wish was to try to make the smallest impact possible to help kids with brain tumors through the promise of research funding in Courtney's name. I had no experience in fundraising, knew nothing about research, very little about brain tumors, and honestly never liked asking for money, but this was personal. Our goal was to create a legacy in Courtney's name. We never in a million years anticipated where this journey would take us. Thanks to all the wonderful people we've met through CHOP and the CBTN who've guided us, the Courtney Rose Foundation has taken a fantastical journey that we never anticipated. As a naive parent who lost a child, I asked Dr. Peter Phillips why all the doctors don't work together. He explained the nature of research and credit. As most parents feel when they hear this explanation, they know that the best results would only happen when doctors cared more about finding answers than receiving credit. Fast forward a couple of years, and Dr. Phillips came to me to tell me about the Children's Brain Tumor Tissue Consortium, the precursor to the CBTN, that would focus on sharing data across scientists and institutions. From that moment on, our foundation devoted our donations to help build the consortium. Watching this entity start and grow to where it has today has been amazing, and I often can't believe that we've been along for the ride. How does this work in this award recognition honor your child? Thank you all very much for this award. Receiving a CBTN Impact Award is especially poignant this year, since after 16 years of pouring our hearts and souls into creating Courtney's legacy, Rich and I have decided that we will disband the Courtney Rose Foundation at year end. We're grateful to have been involved with such important initiatives and for all of the wonderful people we've met along the way. Working together with all of you passionate people has given us hope that together we will help get brain tumors off kids' minds. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kristen and Richard, and to your board.
Hi, I'm Chris.
I can't imagine this work without your tenacity, energy, and passion as part of our daily efforts. You guys are amazing. So with that, I would like to thank you all for your time, dedication, and amazing impact. And in the words of Rep. John Lewis, thanks for never being afraid to make some noise, get into good trouble, the necessary trouble we need to impact progress. With that, I want to hand it over to Jerry Truskin, Director of Partnerships, to introduce the next portion of this afternoon's event. Thank you all.